Congressman Jim Jordan, chairman of the House Judiciary Committee and the Weaponization of the Federal Government Subcommittee. Great to see you in focus today.
Good to be with you, Harris.
What do you make of the finding, potentially, that there are 17 tape recordings out there? What are you hearing on the Hill? What are you discovering?
Again, I think it just underscores why we need to make this document public. Understand where the FBI has been. First, they wouldn't even acknowledge that this 1023 form exists. Now, remember, it's a form they created. They talked to the source. They put this form together. It's an FBI-created form. First, they wouldn't acknowledge that it exists. Then they said, well, it exists, but you can't see it. Then they said it exists, but you can't see it. Oh, well, actually, we'll let the chairman and the ranking member see it. Then they said, oh, we'll let the full committee see it. Let the whole country see it, particularly now that we have from Senator Grassley the idea that there's 17 tapes. By the way, I think that's somewhat ironic because I remember when Director Comey said, I hope there are tapes that exist when he was talking about his conversation with President Trump. Turns out there are tapes, just not the one that Mr. Comey hoped that existed. So make this document public. I think that is the key so the country can fully see what's going on.
Yeah, and why wouldn't they? It's not classified. And from what I understand, and obviously I haven't seen it, you haven't seen it, but if it's not classified, have you seen it unredacted?
No, good point. I have seen it, but it's redacted. Now, and that's another question. It's not a classified document.
That's exactly where I was going.
Why would they redact that section? Why would they redact? Because I tell you what happened. If I could, that section, that's the same section where the source is talking to the foreign national, and the foreign national, the source says, hey, you better quit dealing with the Bidens. Trump's won the election. You better quit dealing with the Bidens. And the foreign national says, nothing to worry about because we've used so many different bank accounts, they'll never catch us. And also, we never paid the big guy directly. And that's the thing that stood out to me because this is now the second time we've heard that term. And this document, this 1023, was put together in of June of 2020. The first time we heard the term was October of 2020 when the New York Post reported on Mr. Gallup, a business partner of Hunter Biden. So now you have a business partner of Hunter Biden using the term 10% for the big guy, and you have the person allegedly paying Joe Biden saying we never paid him directly. So that to me is significant. Both sides of the equation talking about the big guy. And it sort of raises the fundamental question, if the big guy isn't Joe Biden, who the heck is it?
Yeah, who
the heck is it? Yeah.
Who's bigger? Real quickly, and it's got to be quick because I want to move on. Was the information about the 17 recordings, as far as you could tell, under the redacted, blacked out part, or did you know? I
didn't know. The first I knew about is when Senator Grassley said it yesterday but when I went through it, I didn't see anything about that. What stuck out to me is what I just talked to you about, the reference to this term that we've now seen twice.
That is so interesting to me. Because it is unclassified. And if and when the public ever gets to see this, I hope, again, that it is not redacted, that they get to see exactly what's pointing to everything. They wouldn't even let you see that, but at least you got close to the document. All right. A Washington Examiner editorial headline reads, Biden family business needs its own special counsel. And a CNN analyst even outraged over the DOJ's handling of the Hunter investigation. Let's watch together.
This is preposterous. This has been pending, according to our reporting at CNN, since 2018. 5 years. And this, by the way, this investigation is not the laptop. This investigation is a tax issue. Did Hunter Biden declare his income? And a sort of obscure gun law. Did he lie about that? But 5 years, I mean, that's a 5-week investigation.
Well, he makes a point there.
Yeah. Well, and actually, this is what I think the special counsel is for, when there's a definite conflict. And I don't know what's a bigger conflict when the President of the United States and the Justice Department is looking into his son, and there's alleged activity with the president himself. So that's probably warrants a special counsel. I think the country's getting a little tired of these special counsels. I know. I mean, I saw what the Mueller investigation was like. Of course, we see what Jack Smith's up to. We have no idea what Mr. Hur's up to with the Biden classified issue. So we'll see. But this is sort of the situation where there's a definite conflict with the administration. So maybe, in fact, it is warranted.
Wow. You know, it's just so interesting, though, when you say this should get its attention, this should get also expeditious adjudication. I mean, you heard Jack Smith with regard to Trump. We're going to really push for a speedy trial. Well, wouldn't you want to really push for speedy justice in either case, particularly for somebody who actually can still hold the ability to do whatever he wants with the nation?
Right. No, it's what you said earlier, Harris, the double standard. The American people have common sense. They see it for what. I mean, think about it. You got a classified document concerned with Clinton, Biden, and Trump. So 3 people involved in the same thing, but only one gets prosecuted? How is that justice? How is that fairness? How is that equal application of the law? The 2 Democrats don't get prosecuted, but the Republican does? Tell me how that makes sense in our system where it's supposed to be equal treatment under the law. That is what's so frustrating to the country.
Well, I can't tell you how it makes sense because it doesn't. It just doesn't. Listen to what House Democrat Caucus Chair Pete Aguilar just said a few minutes ago.
If Jim Jordan wants to continue to chase rainbows, that's fine. But I don't think that this is anything that the American public are really too concerned about. I don't think that they're concerned about chasing, a 10-year-old, document and what Jim Jordan, says, he saw from a document or from a whistleblower.
What's your reaction?
We're trying to get to the facts. I mean, when it comes to President Trump, we've asked for the scope memo that typically accompanies a special counsel. We want that. When it comes to this document regarding the 1023, make it public so we can find out exactly what's going on here. After all, it's alleged that the President of the United States was engaged in some kind of doing certain policy decisions for money. That's pretty serious stuff. So they can downplay it. But I think the country would like to know what's really going on with their current president, and they'd like to know why, in fact, you're indicting a former president who's leading in every single poll, is a declared candidate for the 2024 presidential race, and is ahead in every single poll, and his opponent's Justice Department indicts him at 3 o'clock today? I mean, come on. That's not chasing rainbows. That's actually doing the job we were elected to do by the American people.
All right, you get the last word there. Chairman, good to see you. Thank you.
You bet. Thank you.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.